The desert was silent except for the whisper of wind dragging fine sand over steel and bone. The night vision scopes of SEAL Team 7 flickered in green ghosts, scanning the ridge 2 kilometers east of the extraction point. The call had come just after 0200 hours, hostiles at 2,687 meters, moving fast along the ravine, armed, organized, and trained. It was supposed to be a clean recon, a quick in-and-out operation in a forgotten corner of the Afghan mountains. But as the cold moon carved silver light across the jagged cliffs, the team realized they were being hunted. Lieutenant Commander Briggs raised his hand, signaling silence. His radio crackled once, then died. The jammers were active. Somewhere out there, beyond the valley, enemy drones were circling, scanning, waiting for movement. The team sank lower into the dust, their breath slow, rifles ready. That's when the smoke began to roll in, not natural, not from the mountains. Thick, chemical white, drifting against the wind. Someone was flushing them out. And then, out of that smoke, she stepped forward. The faint silhouette of a lone sniper, her ghillie suit rippling like a mirage. Nobody moved. Briggs whispered, "Who the hell is that?" But the woman didn't flinch. She raised her rifle, an Mk13 Mod 7, and aimed downrange, where the heat signatures flickered like embers. Her voice was calm, cutting through the calm's interference with one phrase the team would never forget: targets at 2,687 meters. "I've got them." The shot cracked like thunder over stone. 1 second later, a flash lit the horizon. The lead hostile collapsed before he even heard the sound. The SEALs exhaled as if waking from a trance. She chambered another round without a word, her eyes fixed on the ridge. 3 more hostiles dropped in perfect sequence, their weapons scattering like insects on fire. The team had never seen precision like that, not from anyone outside Tier 1. Briggs whispered, "Ma'am, identify yourself." She didn't look back. "Task Force Valkyrie," she said. "You called for backup." I answered. No one had heard of that task force before. Not in the briefings, not in classified chatter. But in the chaos of the ambush, questions could wait. The enemy had surrounded the valley, and the only way out was through the kill zone. The woman moved like smoke herself, silent, calculating, one with the shadows. Each time a muzzle flash blinked in the distance, her rifle answered. Each time a drone whirred overhead, her suppressed shots found its weak joint. Within minutes, the sky was quiet again. But she wasn't done. "They're not retreating," she said into the radio. "They're regrouping behind the ridge. 70 hostiles minimum. You have 5 minutes before they push." Briggs cursed under his breath and signaled his men. They'd have to relocate fast. The sniper adjusted her scope, her expression unchanging. "You go," she said. "I'll hold." Briggs hesitated. Leaving anyone behind went against everything he stood for. But her tone left no space for argument. "Move, Commander. That's an order." And so they went, crawling down the slope toward the dry riverbed. Behind them, her rifle sang, a slow, rhythmic percussion echoing through the canyons. One by one, the advancing enemies fell before they ever saw her face. The extraction chopper arrived 40 minutes later, blades slicing the dawn. Briggs and his men were exhausted, their ammo nearly gone. "Where's the sniper?" the pilot asked. Briggs looked back toward the ridge, where smoke curled upward like a memory. "Still out there," he said. The pilot hesitated. "We can't wait much longer." Then, through the haze, a figure appeared, limping, rifle slung across her shoulder, her ghillie suit torn and burned at the edges. Her face was streaked with ash, eyes bright and unyielding. She climbed aboard without a word, sat by the open door, and stared at the fading battlefield below. Nobody spoke during the flight. The crew just watched as the valley disappeared beneath the clouds. When they landed at Bagram, Briggs turned to thank her, but she was already gone. The only thing left on the seat was a single patch, a silver Valkyrie with black wings. Days later, when the debrief came, the higher-ups asked no questions about her. The mission report listed, external Allied marksman support, unidentified. But Briggs couldn't let it go. He began digging. No record of Task Force Valkyrie. No personnel file matching her description. Nothing in the Pentagon archives. But one night, he received a secure message from an encrypted source. It contained a single image, an old newspaper photo of a Marine Corps sniper team in Iraq, 2006. Among them was a woman, younger, eyes fierce, name redacted. The message read, "She was declared Kia in 2011. Sometimes legends return when they're needed." Briggs didn't sleep that night. He just stared at the image, realizing some stories are too true to be documented. Months passed. The region quieted, but the SEALs still spoke her name in low tones, like a prayer or a warning. She became a ghost story whispered in training camps, the phantom sniper who appeared when everything went to hell. Recruits didn't believe it at first. But veterans, the ones who had seen the flash of her scope in the mountains, would only nod and say, "You'll know when she's there." The air changes. One evening, during another covert op deep in northern Syria, Briggs received a radio ping from an unknown channel. "Commander," the voice said softly, "hostiles at 1,900 meters. Permission to engage." He froze. It was her. "Permission granted," he whispered. Moments later, thunder rolled again, clean, surgical, final. The team advanced under her cover fire, securing the compound without a single casualty. When they reached the overwatch point, she was gone again, leaving behind nothing but boot prints and empty casings. Each brass shell was engraved with a single word, valor. Years later, retired and haunted by the silence of peace, Briggs visited Arlington. Row upon row of white stones stretched under the gray sky. He stopped at one that caught his eye, unmarked except for a small carved emblem of wings. He placed her patch on the ground, saluted, and whispered, "Mission accomplished." As he turned to leave, a gust of wind lifted the patch, carrying it into the distance. Somewhere far away, in another desert, another battle was being fought, and a lone rifle was already zeroed in at 2,687 meters.